3, 2, 1, go!
Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here, and today we are in Opelucid City where the Dragon-type Draconids are hosting the Fighting-type Doofed combats, and the combats are starting out with Poliwrath and Machamp. Machamp has been on a huge roll this season. Goodra and Flygon come out for the Draconids, and the Draconids definitely want to win here today. They want to work their way back up into the Elite Four, potentially getting into that first position, as a Hone Claws from Flygon boosts its accuracy and its attack, and it is followed by Goodra immediately going for the blue flare onto Machamp, and that is a fantastic hit as Poliwrath with the Throat Chop onto the ground Dragon type. Good hit there, and Machamp follows that up with a Bug Buzz responding to Goodra. Unfortunately doesn't do much damage to the Dragon type as Flygon goes for the pound. Looks like they want Machamp off this field early, but Goodra going with the splash, and nothing is going to happen, which is great for the combats because they definitely need a victory here. They have only won 2 games this season, and a Poison Bang from Machamp onto Flygon. Not very effective, but Flygon is left poisoned. That is fantastic for the combats. Flygon is going to take continuous damage from that poison condition. But Flygon now responding with the Zap Cannon going for Machamp and gets the elimination early in this matchup. Machamp is taken out, which is fantastic for the Dragon types. Goodra goes for the slash there onto Poliwrath. A good hit. Poliwrath though becomes cloaked in the harsh sunlight and sets up for a Sky Attack. We'll see this connect in the coming turn. As Flygon continues to take damage from that poison, you have to wonder though, should they have gone for the electric type attack onto Poliwrath, as we have Lucario coming out, and Flygon immediately goes for the Inferno, but goes for Poliwrath with that move, which won't be very effective due to that water typing. Does leave Poliwrath though burned, so that status condition will be huge, as Ally Switch is performed by Lucario. It will switch places with Poliwrath, and Goodra sets up a sticky web, so now any Pokemon that comes onto the field for the Doofed combats will land in that sticky web and they will be slowed down. But Poliwrath will finish off this Sky Attack. It does go for Flygon with that move, and Flygon is able to hold on, but it does suffer from that poison, and that will finish it up. Flygon is taken out of this matchup. Poliwrath still suffering from that burn status condition as well. Now we have Druddigon coming out for the Draconids, and Druddigon with that Mold Breaker ability will be able to break that mold, as we know. But Lucario now with the Octo Lock onto Goodra. It will continue to have those defensive stats lowered in between turns, but Goodra responds with the Magic Powder. This will change Lucario's typing to being just Psychic, gets rid of that Steel and Fighting. Poliwrath though with the Poison Jab going for Druddigon here. Very little damage, and unfortunately does not leave it with any status conditions, but Druddigon sets up the electric terrain on the field, so the terrain will be electrified now. As it seems, the Doofed combats are actually holding their own so far in this matchup, and there is Goodra having its defense and special defensive stats lowered, and it has an amazing 150 base special defense as a Luster Purge from Lucario onto Goodra. Really good hit, and Goodra with the Inferno in response. Really good hit, but it would have been even better if Lucario still had that Steel typing. It is left with the status condition of the burn though, as Goodra avoids the Zen Headbutt, and Druddigon with the Power Trick is going to switch its attack and defense now, and it does have that 120 base attack, as Lucario and Poliwrath are both suffering from that burn, and Goodra continuing to have its defenses lowered, make it an easier target for the combats, as Lucario with the Curse, instead of going for the offensive move here, it is just going to lower that speed that it has. It is the quickest on the field, to see if it still is, but it does boost that attack and defense, as Goodra with the Hex now going for Poliwrath, and a great hit. Poliwrath is eliminated by the pseudo-legendary. Draconids keeping themselves in front. Druddigon going for the Poison Sting on the Psychic type Lucario. Remember, it did have its type changed earlier, and Lucario is still suffering from that burn, but now it is able to be hit by Poison type attacks, and Goodra still having those defenses lowered. Surely if it takes a hit, it will be eliminated, as Surfetched comes out and immediately gets caught in that sticky web that was set up earlier, so it will lower its speed stat. And Goodra now being the quickest Pokemon on the field with the Psych up here, so it copies Lucario's stat changes. Questionable, because now it's lowered its own speed, but Lucario with the Energy Ball not very effective on Druddigon, and Druddigon unable to connect with the Hypnosis due to electric terrain, which Surfetch capitalizes on with the Thunderbolt onto Druddigon, even though it's not very effective. And we still have Lucario suffering from the burn, and Goodra having its defenses lowered, and now Lucario with the Scratch. A really good hit there on the Goodra, but that gooey status condition will lower Lucario's speed here. Druddigon now with the Metal Sound onto Lucario. This is going to greatly lowered that special defense stat that it has, as Goodra with the fake out does fail, and Surfetch goes for the Sludge Wave. This is going to hit everybody on the field, including Lucario. It actually eliminates Lucario with a critical hit. Surfetch takes its own teammate out. That is exactly what the Draconids want, not what the combats need, though, as that electricity does disappear from the terrain, and Mienshao comes out and is immediately caught in the sticky web, but should still be the quickest Pokemon on the field, and that it is, and it immediately goes for a Poison Tail onto Goodra and gets the quick elimination. Goodra's ability, though, will slow down Mienshao just a little bit, see if it can maintain that speed over the field, though. As Dratigan now with the Grudge, it is looking to bear a grudge against one of its opponents here. And Surfetch sets up for a Wish. It is going to see if that Wish comes true in the coming turns, if it can have that health restored before it's potentially eliminated. But Dracovish comes out now for the Draconids, and immediately with the Ice Punch, it is the quickest Pokemon on the field and goes for Surfetch. Dratigan follows it up with the Earth Power onto Surfetch here. Two really good back-to-back hits, but Mienshao with the Aura Sphere is going to go for Dratigan and gets its second elimination in a row. Mienshao is single-handedly keeping the combats in this matchup, and Surfetch with the Scratch, a really good hit, critical hit in fact, onto Dracovish, and its Wish will come true. Surfetch gets a huge health restoration, and out comes Haxorus now for the Opelucid Draconids with that Unnerve ability, making its opponents too nervous to eat their berries, but Haxorus also going for the Absorb onto Mienshao. Very little damage there being done to the Fighting type, and Dracovish with the Fusion Bolt is going to come down hard onto Surfetch. Actually, not as hard as you would think for such a legendary move. Mienshao continuing on the offensive, though, goes for the Seismic Toss here onto Dracovish. Very good hit. Surfetch does follow that up with a Fell Stinger onto Heracross. Not very effective attack, but still, sorry, it was just a regular effective attack and a good hit as well. Razor Shell, though, by Haxorus, fantastic onto Surfetch, and Surfetch has its defenses lowered as the Magnetic Flux does fail. Mienshao goes for the Growl, lowering those attack stats of the Draconids. You have to remember that Haxorus has 147 base attack stat, as the Reflect by Surfetch will make its side strong against physical type moves. Haxorus with the Flatter, though, will leave Mienshao confused, but gives a really good boost here to its special attack stat. Mienshao needs to shake off that confusion, though, and it will... Dracovish, though, in the meantime, will go for the Ice Beam onto Mienshao. Really good hit. Here's Mienshao's opportunity to shake off its confusion, though, and it is successful, going for the Rapid Spin, which actually gets that sticky web off the side of the combats, also boosting Mienshao's speed in the process here. Surfetch follows that up with the Giga Drain onto Haxorus. Very little damage. Now, that was a not very effective attack, and Surfetch gets some much-needed health back in its pocket, as Haxorus, though, responds with the Bug Buzz onto Mienshao. This won't be very effective, and Mienshao is able to tank that hit really well. Dracovish, though, follows that up with the Poison Jab, goes for Surfetch here, and gets the elimination, putting the Draconids back in front, as it's now a 3 versus 2 battle. Mienshao desperately needs to shake off its confusion, and it does, and it's going to go for the Confuse Ray, and confuses Haxorus. We're going to have 2 confused Pokemon on the field, see who can shake it off in the coming turns. And the last Pokemon for the Doofus combats is Gallade, coming onto the field, as Haxorus is able to shake off its confusion and goes for the Sludge Bomb, welcoming Gallade to the field here. Gallade is going to respond, though, with the Psy Beam onto Dracovish, and with that same type attack bonus, gets the elimination. It is a 2 versus 2 battle. Mienshao snaps out of its confusion, goes for the Forest Curse. This will add the Grass typing to Haxorus, but it is a 2 versus 2 battle. The combats are holding their own against the Draconids as Dracozolt comes out. Haxorus needs to shake off this confusion, and it is unable to, doing damage to itself, allowing Gallade to go for the Wood Hammer onto Haxorus. Unfortunately, it won't be very effective, and Gallade does get a little bit of recoil damage. Dracozolt, though, with the Psychic, this will be super effective on the Fighting type Mienshao, and gets the elimination with the critical hit. Mienshao is taken out. Gallade is all by itself. It needs to get some quick eliminations as the Reflect wears off. Haxorus, still in its confused state, this time does shake it off and goes for the Spark on the Psychic Fighting type, as we get our first time warning, and Gallade immediately with the submission onto Dracozolt. A really good hit there, but Gallade gets some recoil damage, and that it does not need, as Dracozolt goes for the Astonish, and Gallade holds on after that super effective hit. Haxorus needs to shake off this confusion. It will be successful, but goes for the Shore Up, so it's just going to look to restore its own health instead of getting the quick elimination. This will open the door for Glade. It has an opportunity. It goes for the hold back onto Dracozolt. This will not be enough. Dracozolt is going to go for the Shadow Ball, and that is it. That time warning now does not matter because Glade is eliminated with that super effective move. The combat's unsuccessful here today. Unfortunately, the Opelousas Draconids were able to hold on at the end and continue a fantastic season, moving themselves up into 3rd place. And the Olivine Ore are now sitting 4th. This is so strange to see them there on the ladder. They have sat first for so long. But in the meantime, the Opelousas Draconids, their next matchup will be against the Luminous Lightning. Dooford Combats will be taking on the Cinnabar Flare next round. But as I just said, the Olivine Ore sitting 4th on the leaderboard. They have a chance, though, to move themselves back up into 1st place when they take on the Sirchester Frost in our very next matchup. I cannot wait for that. But until then, Nidorinas and Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field today. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.